Well, here we go again. Two more of my fairy gardens being redone with all my Dollar Tree accessories. These are going to be very inexpensive fairy gardens. This particular one right here, I am spending some money for some succulents that I purchased, and I spent $9 for them. That was the only thing I had to do. There was some cuttings. These are the ones that I spent the money for right here. So they weren't all that expensive, so $9. But you know, we have to sometimes spend some money, and we did put a little bit of fresh soil. The house itself I already had, and the other two plants you see are cuttings, so there was no cost for them. The little pumpkins I already had, and the other little orange pumpkins I turned over so they looked like flowers on the pathway, but really what they were was cute little pumpkins. And of course it's laundry day, as you can see. The fairies have hung out the laundry to be done. I thought this turned out so cute, even though it did cost me maybe $11 with the sand and the soil. The sand is left over from a project, so I don't even know if we should count the sand as an expense. And a little bit of soil on top to get some fresh soil in this container. But most everything here I already had, and so it makes it easy when you have lots of accessories. And like I said, the house and the clothesline came from 99-cent store or Dollar Tree. I can't remember exactly when I have had it. All the pumpkins accessories were from this last Halloween, so they were nothing that I purchased lately either. It was very nice to go shop my yard and shop my garden and see what I could find. And of course the patio always has fairy supplies on it too. So we just shopped as much as we could in the house and the garden, and it ended up costing us $9 or $10. I thought that wasn't bad for a fairy garden. Try to do as much as you can by shopping what you already have. You'd be surprised what you can come up with when you shop your own property before starting any project. I always do that before I start any project. We are not spending all that much for a pretty large area when it's all said and done. When I'm done doing all these fairy gardens that I'm redoing in this area, I will take account how much I spent and how many containers I redid. The reason why I'm doing so many is because I have so many, and they all look terrible. And these are all my smaller ones, so I'm trying to get them done first because they're a little easier. And when I run out of time at the end of the month, I'll just start working on my bigger fairy gardens that I have. I have a lot of fairy gardens, and some of them are quite large. And of course, I can't be spending any money, and I'm going to have to search for pieces to redo them, as I did here. I did find the little pumpkins for the pathway because I didn't want to have to go buy anything. Now here's another one that I did. I cleaned this one out also and put some soil on top. It's amazing what a little fresh soil can do to a container. It makes it look so much better. As you see, I didn't quite get this at the right time of day. I have a little bit of sun poking through, and I really don't like that, but you do the best you can. Then all the plants you see in this fairy garden were cuttings off of my yard that I already had. So there was zero cost for all these plants. And so there really wasn't much that was spent, maybe $2 to redo this fairy garden, maybe. And that would be sand and soil, and maybe only $1. Because like I said, the sand isn't zero cost. But at least I didn't have to spend any money for plants in this fairy garden. And I had enough room to do 2 little houses in here. And I thought that turned out pretty good. And I repeat, they're from Dollar Tree or the 99-cent store. I can't remember where I buy all my items from. Now I had a little bit of a creek already that I purchased, so that's another zero expense. And I already had that little succulent at the end of the creek, so that wasn't anything new I had to spend either. So this whole thing maybe cost me $1, $1.50 for a little bit of new soil and everything else I had. The houses I had, the creek I had, all the succulents were cuttings off of another plant I already had, and all the little rocks you see sprinkled around were things that came in the sand. So this was maybe $1 fairy garden. So that's pretty good. I might have spent $11 for 2 fairy gardens, $1 for this one, and maybe 9 or 10 for the other one. How good is that? 2 fairy gardens. And I thought they turned out pretty nice. And of course, I'm trying to make do with what I have. I could have dressed this up and spent a little more money, but I need to save some money down the road because I have a lot more fairy gardens coming. Please stay tuned and watch some more coming tomorrow.